Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Buffalo Sabres. I know, surprising. We've been talking a lot about the Buffalo Sabres. They recently made a trade the other day with Eric Staal, and that may have a little bit to do with what we're hearing about the trade market for a potential trade for Taylor Hall. We'll be taking a look at what the price tag may be for Taylor Hall, and we're also going to look at some of the top contenders right now for Taylor Hall in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to help us, guys, we are less than 20 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us be one of the first 1,000 subscribers, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. And let's take a look at the Buffalo Sabres Taylor Hall. So over the past 2 weeks, we've gotten a lot of Taylor Hall news. We're starting to get a little bit more here. So, from NHL Rumors Daily, the Florida Panthers have been linked to Sabres Taylor Hall numerous times over the years. They were very close to getting him last year. According to Elliot Friedman, he doesn't see the Sabres getting a first-round pick for Taylor Hall unless several teams decide that they need him, which comes into the actual price tag, which we got the other day. According to Lance Lasowski, the Buffalo Sabres forward Taylor Hall says he would be for sure interested in being traded elsewhere, which that was in a post-game press conference after their 16th loss. They've since now lost a game, so it's a 17-game losing streak for the Sabres. Moving on, we see another article here from David Paginotta. The consensus seems to be that a second, a prospect, and a third asset of some sort will end up being the final price for Taylor Hall. Elliot Friedman most recently came out and said he wonders if the St. Louis Blues may be a fit for the Sabres Taylor Hall if they could clear the cap space, which is going to come at a price. So that kind of seems like a long shot at this point. And we also, I believe we heard something else here from Taylor Hall, or is that it? Yeah, so that's it. So there's a lot of Taylor Hall stuff going on, but it seems like we're starting to get more clarity as to what teams, and the price tag has now been announced. Now, if I'm going to be honest, the price tag changes pretty frequently. So even though we have a legit price tag right now, let's say 5 other teams all of a sudden jump in the mix for Taylor Hall, it quickly changes the price tag. Right off the bat, right off rip, that could turn into a first-round pick if another 2 or 3 teams maybe jump in on the Taylor Hall sweepstakes. So let's take a look at who I think are the contenders for Taylor Hall. Now, in my humble opinion, there's one team in particular that I think is going to draw a lot of interest. But we have to remember that there are a lot of teams in on the chase, and that could change very quickly. Like I said, St. Louis really came out of nowhere. A lot of teams weren't really putting St. Louis as a buyer. Now, all of a sudden, Taylor Hall seems to be drawing interest. Now, like I said, the problem is they don't have a lot of cap space. That's been their big problem. But if they could clear out some cap, maybe they could find a way to make that deal work. Another team I've been hearing is the Carolina Hurricanes. I think could be interesting. They have the same kind of cap issues as well. They have $2 million worth of cap space. If Buffalo retains half, it'll be $4 million. So there's $2 million. Carolina has to send the other way. Could they make that work? I think they could. Let's take a look at assets. Now, if Carolina were to trade for Taylor Hall, so they have their second round pick. So it would be a second-round pick, a prospect, and a third asset. So what would be the prospect? It could be a guy like maybe Yegor Korshkov, who they just picked up from that trade from the Leafs. Is it maybe Dominic Bach? Maybe that's a good deal. Dominic Bach, a second-round pick, and another asset. Maybe Maxime Lajoie as just that other asset. Maybe that could work. So I think that's a pretty solid trade overall. So you got Maxime Lajoie, Dominic Bach, and a second-round pick for Taylor Hall. That's a pretty solid trade by Carolina. Okay, so now another team that I think could be interested is the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars, you may be saying they might be sellers at the deadline. Well, based off of Chicago's most recent escapades, maybe they decide that they're a playoff team, or at least once they get healthy, they could go down the stretch, maybe make a run, and they need some depth up front in particular. They have their second round pick, so second round pick, maybe Tanner Kiro, or maybe Joel Esperance. Joel Esperance, a second round pick. Let's take a look at a prospect. Maybe Riley Tufte. So Riley Tufte, a second round pick, and Joel Esperance. It's a pretty solid trade. I mean, Buffalo's not getting a huge asset here, but again, there's a guy in Taylor Hall that has struggled in his own right this season, so maybe that's not a terrible deal. The other thing is Dallas has no cap space, so that's going to be an issue. Maybe if they take Cogliano, maybe it's Cogliano, a second, and Riley Tufte. I think that's a pretty good deal, and you can make that work if you're the Dallas Stars. Calgary. I think Calgary's interesting because they have been struggling. They can still make the playoffs in that North Division. And the thing is, too, he's from Calgary. He's from Calgary, Alberta. That's his hometown. So you could see him maybe wanting to stay in Calgary, which is quite funny because obviously he was drafted first overall by the Oilers, which is an arch rival of the Calgary Flames. So that would be quite interesting. They don't have much cap space, so you got to move at least $4 million. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be a tough trade here for Calgary. I could see Calgary being a fit, but the problem is it's money. Money's gonna be a problem here. They can trade their second round pick. They could trade. Maybe I don't know if you want to trade Noah Hannafin. Maybe Oliver Shillington, your second round pick. Maybe Tyler Parsons. So Tyler Parsons is the other asset. Oliver Shillington is the prospect. He's 23 years old and a second round pick. And you could still keep your young guns like Connor Zary and Jacob Peltier. That sounds like a pretty solid trade. And you're not giving up a top-tier prospect. You're giving up a second, a decent prospect in Shillington, and a goaltending prospect in Parsons. But you also have a goaltender that's ahead of him in David Wolf. So even if you lose Parsons, you have David Wolf anyway. And then I think the New York Islanders are another team that should be interesting because you got the Islanders who have really that need for a goal scorer, right? So, but again, the cap concern. The Islanders have cap concerns. But again, with Anders Lee off the books, the Islanders do have the cap space. So, let's take a look. So, I'm going to say you're looking at Kiefer Bellows, a second round pick, which is not their own because they have Colorado's pick. They traded their second round pick. So, it's Colorado's second round pick this year. Kiefer Bellows. And what's the other asset? Maybe Arnaud Durando. So Arnaud Durando. Or Hosang. Do they want to do that though? Okay, so let's go with this. Parker Witherspoon, Kiefer Bellows, and a second round pick for Buffalo to retain half of Taylor Hall's contract. Guys, that may be the best offer on the table for Buffalo. Because Parker Witherspoon has the potential to be a top 6 defenseman in the NHL. Maybe even a top 4. Kiefer Bellows has the potential to be a middle 6 forward. And you get the second round pick. Compared to teams like Shillington, you're getting that Parker Witherspoon player, but then you don't know what you're getting in Parsons as a goaltender. So the Islanders and Calgary may have the best offers. Now, another team that I think could be interesting is the Florida Panthers. And I think the Florida Panthers could be the best fit overall, but I could see the Islanders right here with the best offer. You have the second round pick from from the Panthers. Let's take a look. Eetu Luostarinen, which they probably don't want to give up. His brother plays in Rochester with the Rochester Americans. And probably Seren Noel. So Seren Noel, a second round pick, and Eetu Luostarinen. And that seems kind of high, but that may be the best offer. And I think that's why he will go to the Florida Panthers. Now, the issue with the Panthers, again, cap space. But they do have the cap space. They have $9 million in cap space. Yeah, so not bad. Not bad. I think the Florida Panthers are the best fit. They have the most cap space, and they seem to be going crazy on the phone lines. So we may see the Florida Panthers make that big move for Taylor Hall. That's my projection. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of some of these mock trades? Do you think we could see a trade here for Taylor Hall to the Florida Panthers, or maybe the Islanders, or maybe the Calgary Flames? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and even bigger, subscribe down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.